we're going to actually assess our anxiety, the severity of anxiety, and the presentation of symptoms. This is an exam and it's called Assessing Test Anxiety. I'm going to read the question and you're going to give yourself a scale from 1 to 5. Okay. 1 meaning you never experienced this. 2, rarely. 3, sometimes. 4, often. Or 5, always. So the higher number that you give yourself, that means the condition is worse. Okay. So let's go over this exam. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay. So question number 1, there's 10 questions and we are giving ourselves scores of 1 to 5. So I'm going to read the first question here. It says, I have visible signs of nervousness, such as sweaty palms, shaking hands, etc., right before a test. Okay. All right. And some of you guys may have already done it. I'm just going to go over it for the sake of everybody. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you say I have signs of nervousness, such as sweaty palms, shaking hands, right before the review? Okay. And remember, we're adding them up. Number 2, I have butterflies in my stomach. Get out a pencil, keep track of your score here. This is going to be very important. Number 3, I get nauseated before a test. Okay. Number 3. So is that 1, I never get nauseated. 2, rarely do I get nauseated. 3, sometimes. 4, often. Or 5, always. Okay. And remember, we are keeping track. So you should have either a 3 or more at this point. All right. Number 4, I read through the test and feel that I do not know any of the answers. Whew. Ooh, that's an experience nobody likes to have. Nobody likes to have. Shout out to the ReMar nurses. It's almost 1,000 of us here today. We are rocking this test anxiety workshop. Okay. All right. I read through the test and feel I don't know any of the answers. Next one, number 5, I panic before and during a test. Okay. And we're not talking, and you guys know the definition of panic now. Remember, it is the most severe form of anxiety. So don't use it lightly. If you put down I panic, really put down you gone. All right. You in panic mode. Is that you or is that not you? If it's not you, don't put it you. Don't put it you. Okay. Panic. Number 6, we are on number 6 says, my mind goes blank during a test. My mind goes blank. I cannot recall what definitions mean. I don't know lab values. I go blank. Blank. Okay, moving on. Number 7, I remember the information that I blanked out on once I get out of the testing situation. After I leave that testing center, I know it all. I remember everything that I thought I had forgot. That happens to you guys all the time. I know it does. I know it. When you get out of that NCLEX exam, you remember every question. You remember every answer. All right. So does that happen? Never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always? All right. Number 8 is this. I have trouble sleeping the night before a test. Okay. On your big test the night before, you toss and you turn. You can't sleep. You're just waiting, right? That's a form of anxiety because remember, when you're scared, when you think you're in danger, you're not about to lay down and take a nap. You can't sleep. Is that you? A couple people are like, yep, that's always for me. Okay. Number 9 says this. I make mistakes on easy questions or put answers in the wrong place. Oh, yeah. The easy questions you get wrong. You get the easy questions wrong. And sometimes you guys get the hard questions right. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But we know now it's because you are feeling a little anxiety. Share this video. So many nursing students out there have no idea that this is even them. They have no idea that there's a score and there's a scale for them. All right. I want to see 1,000 shares. Is that possible? Can we get 1,000 shares on this video? Assessing your test anxiety. All right. And so the last one for number 10 is this. I have trouble choosing answers. I just have trouble choosing it. I can get it down to 2, but then I'm stuck. I can't go with my first mind because I am what? Because I am afraid. I'm afraid of what's going to happen. Okay. This is all part of anxiety. So at this point, everybody, let me see your total scores. Add them all up, and you should have a total score anywhere between 10 and 50. So some of you guys might be right at 12. What is it? Some of you guys may be at 26. If you look at it, you're at 40, you're at 50, because we're going to add up everything, and I'm going to show you the rubric here for where you fall into line. All right. So last look on this exam, and we are going to go. Okay. Add up your scores. What do we have here? How's the community doing? Ooh, a lot of high numbers. 20, 23, 38, 26, 5. Wait, you can't have 5. You got to have more than that. 32. Okay. You guys are going to be, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised here. Pleasantly surprised. Does everybody have their scores? Okay. Here is how you, okay. And again, you're self-reflecting. If you're honest with yourself, this is where the category you fall into. But again, if anytime you feel out of control, or even if you feel like this workshop is too much, you cannot even do this workshop because it's sending you into a different place emotionally. You guys just take a break from it. Just turn it off, okay? And come back to it when you're ready. All right. Because this, even talking about this can trigger some people. And we want to make sure that we as a community, we're being sensitive. We do want you all to, at the end of this, feel better. We want you to feel more knowledgeable and empowered. Okay. So here is our rubric. Okay. If you got between a 10 and a 19, you do not suffer from test anxiety. Okay. According to this scale, you do not suffer from test anxiety. In fact, if you score between a 10 and a 19, a little anxiety may actually be good for you. It may be what you actually need. All right. If you score between that range, okay, good for you. You're in a healthy range of anxiety. 20 to 35. Okay. Although you exhibit some of the characteristics of test anxiety, the level of stress and tension is probably still healthy. Okay. And so for the majority of people, hey, this test anxiety is working for your good. It is healthy. It is normal. All right. Now, if you got a 35 and over, you are experiencing an unhealthy level. Okay. So the test anxiety, you have to really evaluate what is causing that distress and identify strategies, which I'm going to help you do. We're going to go back to the cause of it, right? We're going to try to find it together and identify the strategies for managing that anxiety. Okay. All right. But you are not alone. Okay. Yes. And some of you guys are surprised and you thought, oh my goodness, I'm really struggling in this area. But actually, even if you have a healthy form of anxiety, there are some things that we can do so that you feel more comfortable. Okay. Sometimes you feel more comfortable. Jessica, I believe it's normal to have some anxiety, especially something that means a lot to someone. Absolutely. You get this when you're walking down the aisle to meet your Prince Charming, or you're waiting for your bride. How do you feel? you feel some anxiety. You feel a little nervous, right? It's healthy. It's a part of life. And so I am so happy that some of you guys are getting this revelation today. All right. Some of you guys are being set free today. Hallelujah. Right? Because you didn't know. All right. So we are now going to look at the next exam, and that is going to talk about how we are processing these forms of anxiety. Are you having the physical or the mental anxiety? So let's do that now. All right. So the next test is this. We're going to do some of the questions, and the scale is just 0 to 2. So 0 means never, 1 means sometimes, and 2 means, is this the right one? Hold on one second. Yeah, and 2 means usually. Perfect. So there's 20 questions altogether. So we're going to go through the first 10, and that's going to look at how we are doing on the physical side, and then the next 10 will look at the mental. All right, you guys ready? Get out your pen and paper and let's go. So the first question is this. It is number 1. I have trouble sleeping the night before a test. Okay. I have trouble sleeping the night before a test. You got to break it down even further. Is that a 0, a 1, or a 2? Okay. All right. We're going to move through this one pretty quickly because you guys know. 2, before a test, I get a headache. Okay. We're talking about the physical manifestations. Is this never? You don't really get headaches. 1, you sometimes get one, but sometimes you don't. I mean, just think about it in general. Or 2, you usually are having the slamming headache before your exam. Okay. Question number 3. I lose my appetite before a test. I don't want to eat anything. Don't give me any food. I'm not hungry. I can't eat. You guys know when you can't eat, that means you're a little scared because normally we're constantly snacking. We can always eat something, right? So is that 0, 1, or 2? Okay, good job. Some people are like, nope, don't affect my appetite. I'm eating. I don't care how scared I am. All right. 4 says, because of panic, I have to cut class on a test date. Okay. Robert says, I'm never losing my appetite. All right. Because of panic. 4, that means, remember, panic is the worst. That means you just can't deal. You can't even go to the class. You totally miss the test because you just can't get up. You just can't. You're not going to show up. You're not even going to show up to take NCLEX because you're in such a panic. Is that 0, 1, or 2? I don't know. Some people might be like that, but I think most of us, whether we're scared or not, we go into the exam and we just go in there and we say, I'm going to take this F like a man. That's what we do. We say, I'm just going to go in here. And if it's an F, it's an F, right? That's most of us, right? Okay. Shout out to everybody. Listen, this is for your benefit. I'm doing this for you. So if you're here, this is your thing. Okay. The next one. Question number 5. My heart pounds just before or during a test. What about that? We talked about that, tachycardia. My heart pounds just before or during a test. Is that 0? Never? Is that 1? Sometimes I feel my heart pounding. Or is that 2? Usually my heart is racing. Is that you? All right. Because remember, we're adding all these up. 6, during a test, my palms sweat. During a test, my palms sweat. Okay. 0, 1, or 2. 0, 1, or 2. How about 7? During a test, this is during the test, while you're answering the questions, guys. During a test, I have become nauseated and had to leave the room. You had to get up and take a break because you were nauseated. A lot of people are like, no. You get so nauseated, you got to leave. And you guys know the feeling of nausea. You guys know. Okay. Next question. I have had pains in my neck, back, or legs during a test. And there can be many causes for that, but you get pains, all right, in your neck, back, or legs during a test. And from the research I'm doing, it's because you're so tense and you're in there and you don't even realize this, but you're like this, like you're like this the whole exam. Sometimes when you're driving, this is me, when I'm really nervous and it's raining and I'm driving, I'm like this because I'm afraid. And then all of a sudden my back and my neck is hurting, right? And so sometimes when you like that on your exam, you're so tense that your leg begins to ache and your back hurts because you're just in this unnatural position. So is that you? 0, 1, or 2 for that. Okay, I guess I'm alone on that one. Nobody's feeling me on that. Everybody, no, that never happens to me. Okay. All right. Question number 9. I feel nervous and jittery when I am taking a test. I feel nervous and jittery when I am taking a test. So your paper shakes. Are you one of those people that when you're given the test, you're like, the test is shaking and you're like trying to read it, but your hands are shaking? All right. You get nervous and jittery when you're taking an exam. Nervous and jittery. Is that never, sometimes, or usually? Usually. This is a great class. I am so happy that you are here. We are in the middle of a test, and this is a test that is talking about anxiety. We're talking about anxiety. The last question here is, during a test, my chest feels tight and I have trouble remembering. This is a physical sign of anxiety. You have chest pain and you have trouble remembering. Is that 1? Is that sometimes, right? Is that sometimes, is that 1? Or is that 0 for never? Or 2 for yeah, usually? Usually I have that chest tightness and I have trouble remembering. All right. Add up your scores. Add up your scores here. You will either get anything from a 1 to a 20, or you can get, I guess you can get a 0. I mean, somebody might have tested out all zeros, possible, right? Okay. I am going to have you guys then move on to the mental symptoms after you have your scores. Everybody, I'm giving somebody the last opportunity. Add up your scores there. Okay. I see the scores. Beautiful, beautiful. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's very important. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go on to the next 10 from questions 11 through 20. We are going to look at the mental, all right, the mental forms of anxiety. And these were these are really important questions for me to include for you guys. So the first one, number 11, I make careless errors on tests. Oh my goodness. I make careless errors on tests. Is that 0? I never do that. 1, I sometimes do it. 2, I usually do it. Sometimes I don't even get my name right on exam. That's how nervous I am, right? Is that you? Are you saying that to yourself? Sometimes I'll get the date wrong. I'm just making careless errors on the exam. I know diabetes mellitus. Why did I check the blood pressure? Why did I do that, right? So is that you? Question number 12 says, my mind goes blank. My mind goes blank during the test. How about that? Okay. Mind goes blank. Question number 13. I worry when other students are finished before I am. I'm looking to the left. I'm looking to the right. Folks is getting up, handing their papers in, and I'm still there. Do you feel nervous about that? 0, never worry about it. Don't care. 1 or 2. Okay. And this is particular when you're taking your NCLEX exam because you know there's other students in that room with you. Okay. 14 says this. I feel pushed for time when I am taking a test. I feel pushed for time. There's not enough time. You got your, Vivian, my family is watching along and testing themselves as well. That's right. Listen, This applies at any point. You know, you might need to take that license exam, that driver's exam. I don't know. We're all about it. I'm just here for it, right? So I feel pushed for time when I'm taking a test, 0, 1, or 2. 15 is this. 15 is this. I worry that I'm doing poorly on a test and that everyone else is doing well. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. We can't even mind our own business. We worried about what the next person is doing. My goodness. Okay. 15 says, I worry I'm doing bad and the next person is doing good. My. 16, when I'm taking a test, I think about my past failures. Wow. When I am taking a test, I think about my past failures. Yeah. That's it. Our mind, these are the mental manifestations of anxiety. If you don't know, now you know. Okay. All right. 17. During a test, I feel as if I studied all the wrong things. Come on, truth, right? Come on, truth. You guys don't know how many emails I get from students that say, what nothing you told me to study on that exam? Not one thing. Nothing was on the exam. Nothing. I ain't see nothing, Regina, right? Some people say that all the time, right? You feel that way. You feel that way when you get anxious. All right. Okay. All right. Number 18. I can't think clearly during tests. All right. I can't think clearly during tests. All right. And listen. We're going to pray. We're going to pray at the end of this because we cannot be anxious for anything. Once we get where we are and we understand how we've been moving, we are going to move in a different direction. And that's why I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. All right. Okay. Number 19. I have a hard time understanding and remembering directions when I am taking a test. Okay, so even the directions are so hard for me to remember. Oh, man. All right. Come on in. There's somebody that's just joining us. You got to catch up because we are evaluating ourselves. I have a hard time understanding and remembering directions when I am taking a test. 0, 1, or 2. Okay. And then the last one, after a test, I remember answers to questions I either left blank or answered incorrectly. After the exam is over, I know everything that I messed up on. It all comes back to me. My mind is clear. I feel safe. And now I have the memory of an elephant, right? Because I just couldn't get over it, right? So after that, do you experience that sometimes? Okay, tally up your answers. You should have 2 final scores. The top is your physical anxiety score. So that should be anywhere from a 0 to a 20. And then the bottom of the page is your mental anxiety score. And that is anywhere from a 0 to a 20. So we are going to look at now, I'm going to show you the scale and it will show you the percentage of the experience of mental anxiety and physical anxiety that you actually have. All right. Are you guys ready? Here we go. So, here it is. Fill this out. So this is the beginning of it. So if the first 10 questions are for your physical symptoms. So anywhere from a 0 indicates no physical anxiety, and a 20 indicates a high level. Okay. So those are your 2 beginning markers. I know some of you guys are like, well, I got an 8. What does that mean? Or I got a 10. So just give me a second. I'm going to show that percentage in a second. All right. But 0 means no physical anxiety. 20 means the highest level. Questions 11 are your mental symptoms. So some people got like a 8 on the mental and maybe a 18 on the physical. So the mental, these are your mental, meaning 0. If you got a 0, you don't experience a lot of mental anxiety. If you got like a 2, you're not getting a lot of mental anxiety. But if you got a 20, then you got, some mental anxiety going on. All right. Does everybody understand that? So put your 2 numbers on the scale. I want to see if this is helpful to you. Share this video right now. Share this video. Okay. So I see Simone has a 14 and 15. Okay. So Octavia, a 7 on both. Okay. So let me show you guys this then, since we know that. All right. So this is what this is. So Octavius, you got a 7. So that means you are 35% out of 100 experiencing mental and physical anxiety. All right. Not very high. Okay. I mean, you probably got somewhat mild physical, mild mental. All right. Who else? I see a 5 and an 8. So 5 for your physical is about 25%, where the 8 is a 40%. Okay. So you have a little bit more mental anxiety than physical anxiety. All right. Does this make sense to you guys? Is this making sense? Is this helpful? All right. This is how we are determining where we are. So we can be very specific on the struggle. We can be even more specific on the interventions. Okay. All right. So the top score would be a 20. The top score would be a 20, 13 and 13. I see that 7 and 13, 8 and 17. So if you got that 17, that means 85% of the time you are going to be having some mental anxiety. All right. So you know that now. All right. You know what that is like. We're going to go over, and that's why session 2 is so important, because now that we are empowered with this information, okay, we're going to be able to look at the interventions for physical, okay, and we're going to be looking at the information for mental, all right? And it's okay, because guess what? Some of you might be disappointed with your scores, but now that you know it, you can actually start to work on it now. Isn't this better than being at the exam and not knowing what's happening to yourself? Now that you know, you can address it. Okay. And that's the whole point of this. And so I'm going to leave this scale for just a little bit more. Okay. A little bit longer for you guys. I see the answers here. 9 and 15. 11 and 11. Yes. Now that you know, you don't got to play yourself. All right. Don't play yourself and think you got it all under control when you know you got a 15 on the physical anxiety. All right. And so now what you have to do, because you're like, okay, I've taken my assessments. Now what? Now it's time for you to dig deeper. Okay. Because there is a reason why you are like you are. There is a reason why you have these hangups. There is a reason. Okay. And so now, as we close this first session, and we stayed actually a little bit longer than I thought, but it's okay because we were doing some good work together. Let me do this before, because I do have a special offer for you. And it is this. If you need to get your NCLEX preparation down, right? If you need to study and you're ready to take the next step in getting your license, you have a mindset, okay, I did struggle with test taking anxiety. I did not do well on the exam. I want to try it again. get into my NCLEX virtual trainer. You guys know that is where I do my full NCLEX review. It is a 4 to 6 week program, and you will be ready for your license. And if you want to join into the virtual trainer, it is super simple. You just go to remarnurse.com. And during this event, I am giving you guys a coupon code of no stress. Okay. No stress. And that will give you essentially an extra month into the NCLEX virtual trainer, right? It's a 90-day access. And if you put in the coupon code no stress, you get a free month into the virtual trainer. All right. All right. So I hope to see you in the VT studying as well. So this is the NCLEX Anxiety Workshop. You can, you will, and you must pass NCLEX.